Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode of Doofus Bob. So the Spaceport project is continuing. There's a lot of stuff on the board here right now, so I'm gonna go over some stuff. I think this is video probably 6 or 7. At this point, I still haven't even launched a YouTube channel. I've just been making videos. It's I think this here in the U.S. this is Thanksgiving week, and so I haven't had much time here to make videos. But let's go over what's going on here. I mentioned these bucket lids last time and how I wanted to use these as landing platforms. But as you can see, it's kind of recessed in here. So my first idea was to just fill this with plaster of Paris. So I've got one sitting over here. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk about this cool stuff I found here. So there's this company called Tinker Turf, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of them. They've got all these terrains that you can use for tabletop terrain scenery. This is the scatter cover add-on. And I thought this would be cool. Then it's got fences and it's just paper, really. It's cardboard that they've printed on, and you punch it out. Here, let me get this over here. So you punch it out, just punch it all out, and then you put them together the way the directions. So the directions are online. They don't come in the little packet with it, but I just put it on my phone and looked at it while I was doing it. And so you can see these are the barricades. So you just put them together the way the directions tell you. And I thought this would be a cool way to separate the landing zones. So let me move a little bit of some of these things out of the way. We'll start with the barricades, right? So what I did was, I just put them out like so. If you got if the Razor Crest is sitting over here, then we can put these over here like this, and that kind of separates the landing zones. One of the kits comes with this tower you can build, which is pretty cool. And then this is the add-on to the tower. Just it goes like that. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And I had a little rebel symbol, so I stuck it on there. My other one, which is, where is that anyway? Oh, it's sitting over there. It doesn't have a rebel symbol. I just glued it on there to see how it would look. And I haven't decided where to put these yet, but for now it was just sitting up here. And then this is pretty cool. So when you finish building it, you get this little gate here, right? And you just close these together like that, assuming I built that correctly. So I thought that was pretty cool. And this part back here, I decided I'm going to put a little marketplace back there. So after your ship lands, we'll build something there. I haven't decided what yet. So, if I keep this together like that, then this can close. For now, that's where it is. I'll put something here and something there. It might even be the two towers. So, Tinker Turf, Sci-Fi Terrain, cool product. So that was the, what was it called? The scatter cover add-on that you can buy. This was the barricades. Oh, it's got what do you call those little spiky things that you keep so tanks can't roll over you? I haven't put those together yet because I wasn't going to use them on this one, but when I build the Hoth display, I'll use it for that one. And then it also came with these crates. Again, little paper crates. You put them together. There's green and gray and blue. I thought these were pretty cool because, this is a spaceport. Let's say, the Razor Crest is landing. They're going to drop off some goods. That was one of the reasons I wanted it for that and the barricades. Now there's another kit, the one that the gate comes with, because the gate is not in the scatter cover. Okay, that was, I believe, it's just called the gate add-on. So it came with that gate, the two towers, and these cool little ladders. Look at this. I thought this was awesome. So again, I got 2 ships up there now, but let's say you have the Razor Crest, which is going to sit here, the Ghost, which is going to sit there, and then you got these ladders that I'm going to put characters, little characters up on top. This is made for, I think, 28 millimeter characters. You know what, it's set on here somewhere and I don't remember. But that's not, you know, this particular display is going to be the 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures. So they don't really fit well on here, but it'll look nice. And that's all I'm worried about. I just want it to look like a cool little spaceport where I can display all my ships. If you look in the background, you'll see I have shelves and whatnot. You can see the Lego Venator Cruiser sitting back here. It's just on a table. You know, I like to look at the stuff as I get it. And this time I decided to build a spaceport. So, you know, these ladders will be cool. You picture maybe Grogu standing up here, you know, causing trouble or something. I also thought they would be cool just like maybe right here. Maybe put an additional step or a little piece of ladder coming down. Whatever. So the next thing you'll see, I finished building all the legs for the 2nd level. I found this in the roof and gutter section at a hardware store. No idea what it's for, but I went ahead and spray painted it, and I thought, well, I can put some little LED lights in here, just as little dividers, just to kind of separate the stuff a little bit here on the board. That's coming up. We'll get to that. Next, let's talk about some Greeblies that are sitting here. I found these. So as I mentioned before in another episode, the place I used to work was a chemical plant that they closed the site down, and I still have my job. We just got moved to a different place, but I was able to go through the plant and stuff with permission, of course, and I found all kinds of little bits, electronic bits of stuff, consoles, this, that I just brought home, and I started taking it apart. And I found the ceramic, whatchahoozits. I think these are used for attrition testing. If you don't know what attrition testing is, you can go look it up. Oops, I just put a dent there. That's okay. We need a little damage on there. So, but to me, when I saw these sitting on a shelf, I thought about those dividers that they put in front of like banks and other places, so you can't drive your car into certain areas. And I thought, well, wouldn't that look cool here? So let me move this. I'll put this here. I got my little collection box down here. I had to put all my Greeblies into these nice little totes underneath the table here. I have 5 big totes full of Greeblies now. I'm gonna stop for a while because I am running out of space. I need to start using all this. So I thought these would look good as little dividers here. You know, that's kind of what this was for, but then, you know, I took that out. I have to cut this to make it fit. So for now, I'm gonna put that away and just kind of, I like to leave stuff out. Leave it out for a day or so, and you know, let the brain decide if that's how we want it. So if we put another one here, and then these little ones, we can put one there, one here, and you know, we just kind of, you know, you can see that there. And then this, I don't know, I suppose we could just leave that where it is here. I got another one here. We can just put it here. So that's a thought there. We've got another one over there. It's just none of that stuff is going to be glued down, right? We're not gluing this stuff down. I want it all to be able to move it around because I'm rarely, you know, my first go is not the one I always stick with. You see that green thing sitting there? It's got the little, that's what the Emperor that's what he stood inside the Senate building. And it's sitting on top of a green dry ice bucket, really is what it is. Because I want a control tower, and I haven't really come up with anything yet. There's been a few different things sitting in that spot, but I haven't done anything with it yet. Just can't make up my mind, really. Now these pieces here, Okay. This is the ammo bundle. I found on Amazon. It's for a resin kit under terrain scenery. You can probably just look it up. I don't know if they have. I apologize. I should have had the name done so I can put a link in there. But it's just boxes like this. Let's see where there was more. There's a whole bunch more actually. Let's get some of this stuff here. There we go. Okay. All right. So all this came together. These are ammo boxes. You can see here. Probably I should be closer, but they're pretty cool. Let me pick up a couple pieces and bring them close to the camera here. Okay, there you go. So that's one of the ammo boxes right there. And then this is just like a box, boxes, bags, bundles and stuff. Kind of like you see in Skyrim. So this is more from a fantasy game. And then here's the other thing that came with the ammo is this little thing. It's got, you can see like little rockets and stuff in there, missile projectiles and whatnot. Take a look here. Yeah. So, the ammo stuff, I just figure when the Ghost arrives, I could see the Ghost crew delivering ammo to, or transporting ammo or handing it off to somebody here. Like if the Ghost is sitting there, you see we got an A-Wing up there or something. Maybe the A-Wing pilot could be meeting the Ghost crew for some ammo and they could be transferring it. Again, this is not a Rebel spaceport. It's not an Imperial one. So it's just a little bit of everything. It's a free port. We'll call it a free port. So there's that. This is looks like a rack of wine barrels. So these, let's see, this is ammo. Okay, so this stuff here, the fantasy looking boxes and stuff, we're gonna paint these. We'll primer them. I may do a video on that, or they'll just be painted. I don't know. Do you really want to watch me sit here and paint? I'll put the links to some really good guys out there on YouTube that paint much better than I do, but we'll eventually do that as well. So all this is going to sit over here for the moment out of the way, just because, we're going to have some vendors over there, maybe like a food vendor and then another guy who's selling supplies. That's going to sit outside their store. And then let me show you. Well, let's do the plaster thing first. Let's do the plaster thing. Okay, we're gonna pick up the camera and move it over a little bit here. All right, here we go. Here we go. Forgive any mess in the background. It's my week off and I'm not really. So I'll take a look at this. So like I said, I wanted to fill this with plaster so that they have a landing platform. And it's a little tilted. You see the plaster is leaning that way a little bit. I put this piece of styrofoam down because I didn't want to get plaster on this. So it's, what is it? 2 parts plaster, 1 part water is what it said. I'm using the DAP plaster of Paris. It looks pretty good. It's smoothing out. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Ooh, it's warm. So if you want to know why it gets warm, that's actually a chemistry thing. There's a heat of mixing and heat of diffusion and all sorts of stuff that happens when you mix a powder and a liquid together. It's not a funny story, but I was there when a coworker mixed a powder with a liquid. Oh, it exploded. Fortunately, it was in a hood. Everybody was safe, but we did laugh about it afterwards. But this is giving off some heat. It's actually giving off quite a bit of heat, in my opinion. But that's fine. It's okay. The styrofoam's not going to melt. We're not the heat of ignition here is pretty low. So we filled that up, and then we'll put an X-wing or one of those on there and see how it looks. Might have to put another layer. Only thing I didn't like, and I haven't played with plaster of Paris in a while, but it did take quite a bit. It took a lot. I think it took maybe a quarter of my bucket of plaster of Paris. So, but that's okay. I couldn't think of how else to fill it up. There was the expanding foam. We probably could have done that. But I'm sure that would have taken another can, at least 2 cans. Maybe 1 can would have done, but I just wasn't sure how sturdy it was going to be. So I went with plaster of Paris. You know, I think this 3 pound, 2 pound bucket might have been $10. So if it turns out to be more, I'll get more. It's fine. So this is gonna dry. We'll see how it looks, um, and I'll fill the other two. And another thing to be concerned about is the weight. This is pretty heavy now, and I don't know if that's strong enough to support it. I think it is, but we'll see. We might have to put some more supports in there. I got some in my Greebly search. I have some metal rods I could put in there and strengthen it up a little bit. But that is a live and learn. If it doesn't starts to crack, we'll make another one, and I will make a video showing all the damage that might incur, because that's how you learn. All right, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, don't do that, it'll go wrong. Well, experiment, try it, be safe about it. So, okay, so let me move the camera here a little bit. Let's go back over here. This is what, about 15 minutes, and the other one. So let's just walk around a little bit. Oops, sorry about that. And you can see what we're doing. You'll see my mess in the background. Just ignore that. I drew the lines, kind of glued down some Orabesh over here. Now this is where the marketplace is gonna be. Sorry about the camera work. I'm just using my iPhone here. And we're gonna build probably. Let me go ahead and put this down because this is a good place to talk about some stuff here. All right. So right here, we're gonna put probably. I'm thinking you gotta have a food vendor, right? And let me see if I have that out. I don't think I do. I found this really cool ring holder from back in the Lord of the Rings days. I had it. I think it was the Witch Kings, but it lights up red, and if anything, it looks like a little cooking fireplace. So that's going to be sitting here. We'll have a food vendor. Maybe he's barbecuing or grilling some meat, and then we'll have a supply vendor. Probably just 2 shops, maybe one this way, one that way. That should be fine. And then, we're going to fill that one with plaster. Now, about this floor here that we've got here. That's a good view right here. Okay. So looking right here, I haven't painted this. I mean, it's painted as far as the primer. But we wanted to look like the second level of a spaceport, like grates and this and that. So I was looking through my box of Greeblies and stuff, and I came across just some flat stuff. And I think I'm just going to start gluing some of the, kind of position it all out here and glue it down. Now I have to go around where all the landing platforms are going to be. Kind of making me rethink the whole bucket lid landing base here. It's going to take up a lot of space, and they're going to be heavy. So I'm thinking, instead of 4 of those, I might just do 2. And I'll have one there and one over here to minimize the heaviness that they're going to be, the weight distribution here. Maybe just have like the X-Wing, and I thought I had a Y-Wing somewhere too. I have so many little Hasbro ships. We'll put something on there. I wasn't fond of Poe's X-Wing. To me, it just looked like a copy. I think they should have created something new for the movie, the sequel trilogy. So we're gonna have to do something here, and I'll try to make a video of that. As I said in my first video, this is a terrain building, this first few videos. But I've also going to do some unboxing videos. So I got the E-Wing from the Ahsoka series, the Hasbro E-Wing. That's in. So I'm going to do an unboxing video next of that. And then there'll be more videos of this coming out. And we'll get to a point where I'm probably going to stop working on this. You know, once I get the Ghost on here, the Razor Crest, they'll just sit here. And then we'll go back and we'll do things on it, because I'm really looking forward. This is kind of this was an experimental thing. Play with foam, learn gluing, hot gluing, all this stuff. You know, I stopped doing all this, you know, right around in my 20s because, well, life and jobs and whatnot. So now we're going to get back into the fun stuff. Let's go this way. I suppose X-Wing. You can see more stuff down here. And let's see, we're back over here. Okay. See if we can get this looking about right there. I think that's good. Maybe if this channel takes off, I mentioned this before in another video, I'll get a better camera. Right now, this is just fun. That'd be cool. I watched a lot of training videos, and I wanted to do it myself. And now I figured we'll make some videos. You know, it's not really money I'm after, but it's more want people to have a hobby. Get yourself a hobby. Okay, so that plaster is drying over there, and I think it needs just a little bit more on top. So I might mix some more up and pour it on top, and then let that settle. And like I said, we'll fill up another one, and then maybe have the 2 on top. If I only do the 2, then I've got some space to fill back there. And what I might put back there is, because I've been thinking about a staircase, because you got to get up and down. So a staircase or an elevator of some sort, that might go behind the green thing, which is kind of representing the control tower right now. And then underneath that, in the corner, that could be like a mechanic bay, because that would be fitting. And I've got lots of Hasbro 3 3/4 inch droid figures from all the series. I've been collecting them for over 30 years now. So we've got lots of Star Wars figures that we can put on here, and there's going to be a lot. I'm going to have a lot on here because they're just sitting in boxes anyway. They've all been opened. I opened them many years ago. Okay, well, that's where we are. Like the channel, tell your friends about it, and come back and let's see what happens next. Have fun, everybody.